Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, October the 4th, 2025. Welcome to day 28 along the Bayou State Trail. Today's featured hike is just shy of 20 miles, starting at the Myette Point boat landing and ending at the Wax Lake boat landing in Calumet. Now, the first half of today's video is pre-recorded video from when I hiked it as part of the Atchafalaya Basin Wilderness Trail, starting at Myette Point and ending where I'm at right now, the Verdunville boat landing at Yellow Bayou, which is right behind me. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the first half of day number 28, and then we're gonna hike the second half this morning. Taking a little break here at this little levee wall. You can see we came from that direction. And I have to say that it has been a pleasant walk the majority of this morning because of the fact that there's very little gravel. Of course, gravel's not bad, as you all know, for those that do a lot of long hikes or section hikes or through hikes, but it's definitely softer on the feet. You can see we're at the Bayou National Wildlife Refuge. Just a little spot where you can just park and walk on the little short boardwalk. About 9.5 miles into today's hike, we now approach the Centerville boat landing here at Yellow Bayou. And after about 70 miles along the Atchafalaya Basin Levee, we're now going to be getting off the levee. You can see what we're going to be doing is we're right here. We're going to turn, come down, and we're going to follow this road out in this direction. And it's going to take us to the town of Centerville, which is about 3 miles away. We're coming up to the end of Lake Road. That's the road we took from the levee. And now we're going to turn right and we're going to follow this road, which is Verdunville Road. And it's going to lead us to the bridge that's going to get us across Bayou Teche. We're about to turn off of Verdunville Road in a minute, but I wanted to point this out because I failed to bring this up when we crossed the Bayou Teche in Port Barre, but you can see there is a Bayou Teche National Water Trail, and this is the boat landing. Down there is the Teche. So if you're into that kind of thing, you might want to check out the Bayou Teche National Water Trail. It starts in Port Barre and it goes all the way down in this area where it connects with the Atchafalaya River. So anyhow, we're probably maybe about a mile left down this road before we turn left onto Centerville Bridge Road. We're about 12.5 miles into today's hike. We're now turning left. This is Centerville Bridge Road. as we're going to cross Bayou Teche and enter the village of Centerville. We're not up to Highway 182. We're now in the village of Centerville, and we're going to have sidewalk now for the next several miles. We're going to be going through Centerville, and then right after that is going to be Verdunville. About 13 miles into today's hike, we come up to Centerville Market. This is a great place to stop. I highly recommend it. I'm sure you're going to want to stop here because you've been out on the levee for the last few days. But not only do they have decent things for resupply, but they have hot food. They have a daily plate lunch every day. And there's also some other things like electrolytes and everything else you might need to get you through the rest of this hike. So we're going to keep on going. We're still in Centerville, but we should be getting into the village of Verdunville very shortly. Close to 14 miles into today's hike, it looks like a convenience store. They do sell a few things, but it's mainly a restaurant. It's Little Mama's Kitchen. They've got a nice menu. I was just talking to the people inside, and you can come in anytime and order food. So this is another option for you. If you miss plate lunches over at Centerville Market, you can come eat over here. We're close to 15 miles into today's hike. We're coming up to Prairie Road North, and the sidewalk has just ended here in Verdunville. So we're basically going to be spending the next 5+ miles along Highway 182. We're now about 18.5 miles into today's hike. You can see in the distance 182 connects with US Highway 90. We're going to get on Highway 90 in a little bit, but we're just going to go ahead and take this side road for about a half a mile, which is Rickahoe Drive. We're going to follow this to the end of this road, and then we're going to jump on Highway 90 and cross the Wax Lake Outlet Bridge. You can see there's Highway 90 right here. We just kind of bushwhacked this. I had noticed that the fence was down there's a fence line that goes this way. If we would have stayed on Highway 90, we would have kept going all the way down and around and back over here. I'm going to show it to you when we start day 29, but this is the levee. And basically, this is the path of the trail that we want to follow. So we're going to come down this a short ways, hang a left to the Wax Lake boat launch parking lot, and that will conclude day 28 on the Bayou State Trail. Just made it to the Wax Lake boat landing. It was about 19.7 for the entire day. I just showed that phone number for the cabins. Those cabins are right there. Hopefully they'll have reasonable rates, particularly as this thing gets more popular for hikers. But this is the Wax Lake outlet we just crossed. I know that kind of in this vicinity back here, people have camped out, which is why we wanted to set this up as the ending point for day 28. But we'll continue to add more information on our website as we have more confirmations on things. But that's it for today. I'm going to head back to my truck and I'll give you my thoughts on day 28 of the Bayou State Trail. Back at the Verdunville boat landing, and I would have to say that day 28 is a little long, but it is a great hike. You start finishing up along the Atchafalaya Levee. There's some nice views, as you saw, leading up to Verdunville boat landing, such as that nice pier over at the Bayou Teche Wildlife Management Area. And then it was a nice road walk into Verdunville, nice peaceful road that we took. Of course, crossing Bayou Teche was nice. And then going into Verdunville and Centerville was really nice because they had sidewalk all the way through. There were 3 stores that we counted going through there. There was, of course, Centerville Market, and that's where you want to get a lot of different supplies. If it's going to be not just food, but other things that you might need to get you through the rest of the hike if you're going southbound. And then, of course, there was Little Mama's on the right-hand side. It's right at the Verdunville-Centerville line, and they've got a nice menu of food, and they have some drinks and stuff. Not quick hot food, but looks like they have a pretty good selection of food that you can order to take out, and they are open much later. So if you miss lunch at Centerville Market, you can do that. And then, of course, on the way out, the road walk on 182 really wasn't all that bad, and we hit Highway 90. Of course, that walk across the bridge, it was real windy today. I was having to sit there and hold my strap to my hat, but got some nice views of that. And of course, we were able to cut the walk down a little bit, getting across and bushwhack instead of having to go around. But with that said, you know, if it becomes a problem, we'll let y'all know if you got to continue on Highway 90 and then just get on Highway 182. But for us, it was really nice that we were able to just get back to the Wax Lake landing from there. I pointed out lodging. I pointed out the phone number. Check with the cabins. I hope that that works out for hikers in the future. And I know that there's been people that have camped out right there in the parking lot. The lady at Little Mama's told me that there's some camping available on the other side of Highway 90 near the Wax Lake outlet, but we'll have to go investigate that. But with that being said, no matter when you watch these videos, make sure that you go to the Bayou State Trail website from time to time to get updates, because obviously things are going to change over time. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm recording this in early October, which means that by the time this video comes out, I'm just about going to be done hiking this entire trail. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon on the Bayou State Trail.